India is a very interesting society. We want to plan for our own aspirations, but we also want to support others like our parents and our children financially. So, when it comes to retirement, we can't afford to just go with the flow. We need to have some structure in place. Yet, only about half of us have a retirement plan. And regardless of whether you have a retirement plan or not, you still need to decide about where you're going to save for retirement. And all of us would like a solution that takes us to our retirement destination comfortably and safely. We would also like a solution that gives us good returns and allows us to continuously invest across different market cycles. Does it seem like we're asking too much? I don't think so. If you'd like to know how Sphere is making retirement planning easy, join us this Saturday for our webinar.
I use that phrase absentee landlord. It's not just for agricultural land. You can say you're an absentee landlord in everything. You think your father will take care of it in his lifetime and then you will take care of it after his lifetime. You will be completely ill prepared to handle anything. And you will end up being a failure. And society will tell you that this guy was not worthy of his father. In such instances, I see that the generational transition failed. It's a failure of generational transition and it's bad positioning. Whenever we see business groups also, you may have noticed this. I'd like to hear your views on some groups. I've said a lot.
No, more than big groups, I've seen small Gujarati businesses being able to transfer it very well, because I have seen them sit with their children and show all the dolls. Like anybody can do this. Sit with a 6-year-old and say, look, these 6-7 dolls which we bought, these 4 you used very well, these 2 you didn't use. For all this we paid a price, but here you derived value, here you didn't. Because today you are teaching them how to derive value, tomorrow you can teach them value-based investing. So all these charts at home, to think this will be done by the school is wrong. School cannot do it. Value investing or history of the country or history of your state, sadly, or the family itself has to be taught by the parents, because parenting is not just having a kid and paying 1 lakh per month fees and sending them to a good school, to an international school. That's a good beginning maybe, but still you need to spend time with the kids, go for long walks, go for a swim, go to the gym, do something like that, go for a run, do cycling, travel together and start teaching what they did in their family, how the money was created, why it is being, and teach them value buying. I know one girl who goes to her father and says, Dad, this is a new restaurant, it is very expensive, I can't afford it, but you deserve it, please take me. Right? She wants it, but she knows she will not pay for it. She is very clear that I will not pay for it, it's expensive, I want you to take me. At least they know that the father has deserved it, so he will take me, rather than saying, Dad, give me 5,000 rupees, I want to have lunch there. Father can give, but the father likes this approach. Right? So how they approach wealth making, how they approach wealth creation, and asking, is this degree worth it? Is the ROI worth it? If your 15-year-old can ask you, is there ROI in this 3 crore rupee education abroad? You have done your job. So I see many families being able to teach their children all these things, not exactly in this terminology, but to say, look, my parents can afford this vacation, I can't. Right? So it's the same family, same kitty, but saying I haven't deserved it, I will earn it out, and things like that. So being able to understand, being able to take your 14-year-old to a wealth conference or wealth meeting, sitting with the guy and saying, why are you making this investment, how much will education cost, how much money you have. 2 ways how people react. Some kids say, oh, my father has got so much money, let me spend. Other kids are more responsible, saying, oh, I need to create more wealth. Also, when you have a very complicated portfolio of trusts and all that, some kids might turn and say, I did not ask you to create it. So in those cases, understanding that your family is not interested in some of the things you have created, you should find non-family runners for it. If you have created a farm in which your son is not interested and you have only one son, you have to find somebody working in the farm who will take it, run it, own it, whatever, it doesn't matter. If your son says, I don't even want it, maybe you sell it off, but you have to make the transition yourself. You cannot say it is his fault that he was not interested. He did not ask you to create this farm. So that's also important.
Now I want you to tell me about what you have seen in families which discuss wealth from an early stage transparently, and families which never discuss wealth, the distinction between these two.
I wouldn't say don't discuss wealth, but there is a family which I know which has much more wealth than what the wife and child think. They don't have the full picture. I have the full picture, his brother has the full picture, his CA has the full picture, the family does not have the full picture.
What is the logic of this?
There is no logic, but he thinks it is not necessary.
It's delusory in my opinion.
So he is saying, they know I have wealth. Like suppose, I mean, his family, when I asked how much money do you think your husband has, so she said, oh, he has a lot of money, 15 to 20 crores he must be having. In reality, he has about 150, 160 crores, right? So there is no connection between what they think and what, but it is very well documented. So if he dies, they will get everything. It is there in his NSGL statement.
Can you give me an example of a family where everybody knows everything also?
No, both these families I have seen, both exist, both coexist, and both are doing well, right? So, family where they know, their daughters know how much money their father has, they don't have a son, so they know how much money the father has, how the father has decided how much each one will get, how much the mother should get, how much will be the dividend income, all that is known. There is tremendous peace. Both, see, the thing is, if we are talking of a man, his wife and children should all think alike. And it is also important for the father to understand that the children are children of a rich man. So they will think differently. So father says, oh, I have this 8,000 rupee phone, and the kids laugh because they have 1.5 lakh rupee phone. The amount of money spent on the phone doesn't matter at all in terms of the wealth that they have. But the father says, my needs are not there, and father is happy buying them 1.5 lakh rupee phones, and he says, they know to use it, I don't know how to use it. So understanding that the kids can draw value out of a 1.5 lakh rupee phone more than what he can do. That is the father's level.
That is at the father's level. No, I am asking something else. When a person, like you mentioned, like the wife and the daughter, have to handle a 150 crore legacy, and they think they are going to handle a 20 crore legacy, the expectation setting is not right, first point. Second, the point at which they start handling this is after the lifetime of the person, and it's left to others to tell them how they should handle it. My perception or my own sense is that only if you train them to carry the load of such a large corpus, and you observe how they carry that load, then their ability to handle it after you will be adequate. The adequacy will be met only by that. When I look back at my own experience, the fact that I handled such responsibilities way beyond my age, right from the age of 25, is the only reason I was able to focus on wealth creation. Because once you handle the responsibility, you know what the load is, then you say, hey, why can't I do something to create something? You are not looking at living off these responsibilities. Instead, you are saying that why can't I create something? So, my sense from experience is that if the person is able to focus on what these responsibilities are and understand it thoroughly, then they not just handle the transition well, they are more than adequately prepared for the transition because they have themselves turned into creators. So you create a secondary line of creators, may not be in your field, maybe in some other field, but in their own right.
I guess he will do it at a later stage. His daughter is still very young and he is not very sure whether his wife can handle it. So he is doing it. But I have found that with wealth, each person has a different approach to how they will handle and how they will handle the transition. but they are very clear that they will protect their family, so they know that they've created a will, they've made copies, they've involved their brother, they've involved their chartered accountant, all that. So all those safety nets are in place. He has ensured that there will be enough income coming to her from annuities or from dividends and things like that. All that is in place, but his daughter is still young, maybe only 17, 18. So maybe over time he will do the transitioning. There is still time. But each person has a completely different way of handling. For example, I know one guy who made a lot of money in the US and came and gave a lot of money to his sisters, saying, here is all the money that I am giving you, because I know my father is going to give the full house to me. He is not going to give to my sister. So he gave them nice big chunks of money, much more than the value of this house, and he said, I can give you because I have created wealth there, and so he is sharing it. So the question is also to make sure that you communicate within your family, within your siblings and cousins, saying, look, in case any of you have any requirement, you can dip in here, you can come and take, right? It's almost your right if you have to pay for your education and things like that. I see this kind of communication happening with people. I see the children being trained. I see a guy who take his son and put him in some friend's job, in friend's company, and make him slog there. So these are all methods which people do. That's why I said these steps have nothing to do with wealth. Yes, of course they have money. Of course they drive nice cars. Of course they take good vacations. There's no doubt about that. But the kids have to realize that some things they will get because of their birth, and some things they have to work toward. For example, this friend of mine who is a broker, I mean, I can't call him my friend, his father was a broker. He ensured that the three sons living together in the same building had to buy the same assets on the same day. So if one guy bought a Honda City, he had to make sure that there was enough money to buy 3 Honda Cities. He could not say, I am buying one, I'll buy for you later. He said that is what causes fight in a joint family. Different assets. All 3 of you should go on one vacation, go together, go differently, it's okay. Once in 3 years when you go on a foreign vacation, all 3 should go on a foreign vacation. I don't want it to happen that you buy stuff or you enjoy differently and create a hassle. So the father, as long as he was there, he made these rules. The father is dead. Now the elder brother still bosses around, and the younger brothers and the whole family accept because the father has set the tradition. So you see these things happening, and I've seen mostly in the Gujarati community, not so much in the Tamil community, but I've seen these people do it. And I think it's a very healthy way of, they all are good at documentation, they are writing it down, they are making their will. I think maybe they learnt it from Dhirubhai Ambani that whether you have 45,000 crores or whether you have 45 crores, documenting is very important, saying why you are giving more money to one person, why you are giving less money to one person. So I have done this of saying, don't give all your money to a child who does not have money. Give all your money to the child who has money, and make sure that that child looks after the other child, because there is proof that this child is not able to handle money. So in such cases, so like I said, this is not so much about money, preparing for your exit and making sure that your children are there together. You have to communicate well financially.
The overarching point that comes in this discussion is preparation. You prepare yourself, you prepare your support system, which could be a lawyer, chartered accountant, friend, whoever you think is going to be a support system, and you prepare the family also in whatever way you think it's required. I may think it's required in a certain way, but somebody else may think it's in a different way, but there would be some preparation which you think is sufficient to handle the responsibility, and that preparation should also help the next generation succeed in their own right, be their own persons, and yet carry the generational legacy forward. Subra, thank you very much for this wonderful conversation.